Hi everyone, thank you for joining us on our Tuesday TNT as we whip around Thailand for all the main news stories. A lot to get through today, so I think the best we can do is to get started. And following up from the story about the missing German man yesterday, well, he has been found. Body of missing German businessman Mr Mack found dismembered in a freezer in Pattaya rental home. And the story covered by the PattayaNews.com. And says the body of missing German businessman Mr Mack, 62, was found in a rental home in Pattaya last evening and was confirmed early this morning. And Mr Mack's body was found in a large freezer in a rental room in the Chok Chai Garden Home 1 village in Pattaya, which police targeted following reviewing leads they'd been investigating throughout the last 24 hours. And the freezer being transported in a black pickup truck by what appeared to be foreign nationals. There's a picture taken obviously from CCTV, and that's the black pickup with, well, that freezer loaded onto the back. Mr Mack's body had been cut into multiple pieces, according to forensic technicians, placed in black garbage bags and stored in a freezer at the rental room. And a gentleman called Mr Olaf lived with a disabled German woman, and both were close with another German identified only as Petra. Now, we mentioned a woman called Petra in yesterday's reporting, and Petra apparently was a person that Mr Mack visited regarding a Samui property, but that's all we knew of her at the time. And at the time of the interview, Olaf had nothing to say and would only tell police to speak to a lawyer. Thai police also believe there may be Thai nationals involved in the murder and dismemberment of Mr Mack. And this is a bit of a strange thing to put at the end of the article. Says TPN Media sends its sincerest condolences to the friends and family of Mr Mack. Now, a strange thing to say, given that they don't use that same sentence at the end of every motorcycle crash or death in Pattaya City. That aside, thank you very much to some of our viewers yesterday who reminded me that we've seen Mr Mack in the newspapers before. And this from March the 2nd, 2018, 2 foreign pedophiles and Thai pimp nabbed in Pattaya trafficking bust. And you can see the credit for the photo there. Police arrested a German national and a Thai man for trafficking of minors. And a German expat and his Thai partner have been arrested for allegedly trafficking underage children for sex. Police had been monitoring the movements of the Thai man who allegedly escorted a 15-year-old girl to the house in the Pattaya Green Villa development, with a German following behind on a motorbike. And then down the bottom there later, police found a 15-year-old wrapped only in a towel. And police arrested both men for human trafficking of minors, with the third person charged for sexual activities with a minor. And at the same time, the nationthailand.com reported 2 charged for trafficking underage prostitutes, and a 41-year-old woman was arrested on Sunday, this is back in 2018, for allegedly procuring girls under 18 for prostitution. And it says the Thai person was apprehended along with a German national, Hans-Peter Walter Mack, 56, who was allegedly a customer at a house in Tambon Nong Pru. And that article finishes by saying that Amon, Rat and Mack face charges of human trafficking and procuring, buying a sex service provided by an underage girl. So I'm not exactly sure what happened in relation to that particular incident back in 2018, and I'm not sure if those activities have anything to do with what happened in recent days, but it looks like that German man has been found and in pieces. Moving now to ThaiPBSWorld.com, and the outgoing Thai PM found guilty of neglect of duty over PM 2.5 pollution. And the Chiang Mai Administrative Court ruled against the Prime Minister, that's the caretaker Prime Minister, and he's still the caretaker Prime Minister, I suppose, and the National Environmental Board today, that's yesterday, for neglecting their duty to deal with the annual dense smog in Chiang Mai. And you'd know that from December to around about April every year, Poor Chiang Mai just gets a horrendous smoke and smog problem caused by forest fires, not only in northern Thailand, but also in the neighbouring areas, the neighbouring countries. And both defendants were found to have ignored their duties. And the Prime Minister, Prayut Chan-o-cha, ignored his duties or delayed performing his duties. And the air pollution caused by PM 2.5 dust has eased since May, but the problem returns from December to May every year and has a tendency to worsen every year. And that story from Thai PBS World, but no information about what will happen as a follow-up. So we'll check with the BangkokPost.com, usually sort of conservative leaning and in support of the Prime Minister in the past. And it says PM failed to curb pollutants. And as we wade through the article, the story says the court said that based on the testimonies of witnesses, fine dust pollution had worsened every year and negatively affected the health of people, both in the short and long term. It found that the defendants had neglected their duties in resolving the problem under the law. And then further down in April, about 1,700 residents in the province also filed a lawsuit with the Administrative Court against General Prayut and related state agencies over their alleged failure to resolve the haze issue in the north. And it finishes by saying the residents claimed that people living in urban areas were at risk of being exposed to unsafe levels of ultrafine dust particles, which could shorten lifespans by up to 5 years due to prolonged exposure. And that's where that article finishes. No follow-up, no charges. Is anything going to happen? And there's another 1,700 complaints filed with the Administrative Court, so that story's not over yet. We should thank, by the way, our sponsors, 5 Star Marine, going from Chiang Mai to Phuket. If you'd like to head out to any of the beautiful islands, and I'm glad to say today there's no rain. I don't think there's any in the forecast. So it'd be a very nice day indeed. There's a link in the description underneath if you'd like a link with a special deal for TNT viewers. Tuesday's TNT, and again another failure of one of these construction sites building these overhead roads in Thailand. Cowsod English on its Facebook page saying breaking, Rama 199 radio centre received an urgent report from the Lat Krabang Fire and Rescue Station on Monday evening that the bridge girder of the Lat Krabang tollway construction project has collapsed and fell onto passing cars. There were 2 initial fatalities and numerous injuries. Let's have a look at some video of that collapsing, which was caught by FM 91. Might just have another look at that again. Good heavens. Amazing that that was caught on video at the time. And some more video captured in the aftermath of the collapse. And this is another one of these overhead roads being constructed, noting that we've had pylons falling down and other problems in the past, and it does shine a light on the safety of some of these construction sites and clearly some shortcuts being taken. Let's find out more about this story from coconuts.co, their Bangkok edition. 2 killed, many injured when overpass suddenly collapses in eastern Bangkok, and some more dramatic photos there showing the aftermath of that collapse, and these photos from Coconuts Bangkok. 2 workers have been confirmed dead so far after the overpass they were working on in eastern Bangkok came crashing down on Monday evening. At least 2 people were killed when workers toppled from the bridge and were crushed underneath just after 6 p.m. in Bangkok's Lat Krabang district, according to preliminary reports. There were reports of at least 7 people hurt, 3 of which suffered severe injuries. The structures also fell on nearby structures, damaging them. The section that collapsed was in front of a Lotus's on Luang Pang Road. And many cars have been crushed under the wreckage and access to the area has been closed. The project is related to the construction of a 4-lane elevated road from On Nut to Lat Krabang, which began in 2020 and was expected to take 900 days to complete, according to traffic news site JS100. So just to help you locate that, it's to the east of Bangkok, about halfway between Bangkok and Pattaya. Tuesday's TNT. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. We'll move on to a bit of sort of pre-warning of what's going to happen on Thursday. And BangkokPost.com reports protest site ready ahead of problematic vote for PM. So officials assuming that there's going to be a bit of activity outside Parliament. Let's see what they're doing. And it says that an area near the Parliament has been prepared for demonstrators when the House and Senate meet on Thursday to vote on who should be the new Prime Minister, a vote some senators warn could be problematic. The House Speaker said yesterday that vacant land owned by the BMA opposite Tahan Road would be available for demonstrators when the Parliament convenes in a joint sitting at 9:30 a.m. on Thursday. So they don't want the protesters right outside the front of Parliament. They want to move them away to somewhere that would probably be safer for them. And Mr Wan, he's the House Speaker, asked that demonstrators help maintain order, saying that Thursday's meeting was a significant event and the Parliament an important place. The Bangkok governor on Monday said that the Five Rai area was in the grounds of a city hall complex and could accommodate about 600 people. So indeed, all this starts on Thursday at 9:30 a.m. Will we have a new Prime Minister in Thailand on Thursday? I sort of doubt it, but there are so many combinations and ways you can look at how this vote is going to fall, but really, no one knows, and many of the senators are holding their cards to their chest very closely. I also fear that there's going to be a lot of abstentions, which really is not going to help the matter at all. Interesting story from Channel News Asia, which is from Singapore, and it says commentary outside of politics, Thailand has a good story to tell. I've put a link to this editorial in the description of this video. I thought it had some interesting points. I'll go through some of those. Now, when central bankers line up almost daily to assert their commitment to fighting inflation, it makes me think of Thailand, says the writer. Not the fine resorts and great food. The country's untrumpeted success is seriously taming prices to the point where officials might want to think about easing up lest the economy slows too much. Like the rest of Southeast Asia, Thailand's been blindsided by the modest nature of China's rebound. Tourism, a key industry, is gradually recovering. The number of Chinese visitors is heading in the right direction, but nothing like the surge that was anticipated when Beijing cancelled zero COVID. And just another part of the article, Thailand's divisive politics aren't helpful. 2 months after an election, the country is without a prime minister. And these two paragraphs, the economy, when attention is paid, is often called an outlier because the central bank won't declare it's done with rate hikes when other authorities have chosen to pauses. The real exceptionalism, however, is where it got the inflation call right. While the political class squabbles, there are adults in the room. In an interview with Bloomberg Television last week, the Bank of Thailand's assistant governor drew a contrast with the US. In America, inflation has been largely driven by the tight labour market, less so in Thailand. And you can read that full article in a link in the description of this video from CNA and originally written by Bloomberg. To our next story, and we'll go to auto manufacturing here in Thailand. China-led electronic vehicle boom in Thailand threatens Japan's grip on key market. And this has been published by CNBC.com. It starts with a bit of history. Thailand's Siam Motors partnered with Nissan Motors in 1962 with a factory that rolled out 4 cars a day, leading to a profitable, decades-long relationship with Japanese companies that transformed it from a car dealer into an automotive pioneer. But the Thai family-owned group that's grown annual revenues to $7 billion on the back of that success is now looking at opportunities elsewhere. Siam Motors is in talks with several Chinese automakers about potential partnerships, particularly for high-end electronic vehicles. And Siam Motors' position reflects a rapid shift underway in Thailand, where Chinese investments worth $1.4 billion since 2020, including by BYD and Great Wall Motors, have opened a new front in a market Japanese automakers historically dominated. And close on the heels of a sales crisis in China, Japanese automakers now face a battle for another key Asian market because of what's been a go-slow approach to EVs, according to registration data, industry officials and analysis. And the Chinese wave is already beginning to reshape Thailand's auto industry as EV makers from China bring in their suppliers and local Thai firms, including those with long-standing links to Japanese companies like Siam Motors, seek new partnerships. But China surpassed Japan as Thailand's top foreign investor last year, boosted by BYD's investment in a new plant set up to start in 2024, amid concerted efforts by Thai officials to draw Chinese EV producers. So there has certainly been a shift, really just in the past 2 or 3 years, from Japanese car makers investing money in Thailand to Chinese EV car makers making a lot of that future investment. And if you drive around the roads of Thailand, there are plenty of these new Chinese EVs. Now, a lot of people watching this channel for a while will know that I was looking at buying one of these Chinese EVs, but then the Mercedes came along, but that's another story. But I found them, they look good, they drive well, the build quality is very high. Now, whether they're going to be around in another 10 years or if they're going to fall apart, we just don't know yet, but they appear to be very well built. And let's see what happens as Chinese EVs start to dominate Thailand's roads. Thank you for joining us today on TNT, our Tuesday edition, and of course we'll be back again tomorrow with another look at Thailand's main stories.